Right.
when we experience difficult news, uh, I always envision it that I actually don't go inside. The first reaction is that I go outside of myself. I kind
Uh,
of lose myself in it.
uh,
And when trauma and this was in a way traumatic. It was news that I had not expected to hear and triggering. And we go to fight, flight, or freeze, or sometimes fawn, the clamoring, the let me prove myself. Let me over nurture and take care of you instead of me. We automatically go to one or a combination of those places, and that I kind of visually see that as outside of ourselves. And so again, this goes back to being a witness as to what happened, and if we're not clear about how our brain shows up in those traumatic moments and know how to bring ourselves back into our gut and our heart, it we can stay stuck in that place, which is why many people, when they've experienced trauma, they're not aware of it or they're disconnected from it
yeah.
because that's where their brain has taken them.
Yeah. I love the distinction of no, actually, I'm not inside of myself when I'm in the trauma reaction. I'm outside of myself, even though it may be experienced of being totally inside of myself. That's the
Mhm.
tricky part.
Yes.
So, in your work with clients as a trauma guide,
Mhm.
how do you guide people to gain that awareness of actually, this is not you being inside of you, this is being you being outside of you?
The first distinction to help people understand is our relationship together, that I really am just that. I'm a guide. I don't have the answers for anybody. I can hold space and I can create a dialogue and a conversation for the opportunity for them to come back into themselves from a very deep, soulful place. Uh, and how we do it is through a series of moving meditations so that I teach them to warm up their gut and their heart. So much of the way that we function, specifically here in the continental US, the Western world, is everything comes from our head, our thinking head. We're taught that way in schools. We're in our synagogues and our churches, even though we talk about, praying from our heart, oftentimes the conversations and uh, the prayers are all spent here. And so I help people come into their being, into their vessel or the container that we're given. We're given one body in this lifetime. And so, how do we show up in that body so that we're vibrating fully mind, body, and spirit, or mind, body, and soul? And so, the first work that I do with people is help them get reconnected with their physical body. And it's a series of tapping. And then for the trauma piece as well, I take them through a meditation. And in that meditation, it is loosely guided meditation. And then we sit in silence and they listen from a deep place within to perhaps a memory or a thought that shows up that wants to be integrated. And then we just have this process that we do together where they're in a semi meditative state and they pay attention to their body. Where are you feeling this? What body sensation are you experiencing? It might be now I have a lump in my throat, or my chest feels hollow, my stomach hurts, I've got a pain in my knee. And we have them become aware of it, speak to it, and then they have this conversation with themselves as I guide them to work through integrating that experience back into a place that it's helpful for them in the here and now versus holding them hostage to the past.
Mm,
Because if we're still in fight, flight, or freeze or fawn, we're coming from a place of dysfunction.
mm,
And when we can clear the actual physical shock out of our body,
mm,
then we can be in alignment again with ourselves and be in the present moment and then have the wherewithal to make those witness uh, observations about ourselves like we spoke about earlier.
mm,
And then when we get triggered, we get to go, oh, okay, well, what's this? Where am I feeling it in my body? And I believe in my lifetime, and perhaps I'll be proven wrong, but I believe in our lifetime, this is what we're called to experience over and over again. So again, that we continue to be more clear about our purpose and how we show up in the world and what we're
mm,
here to do.
mm.